And then I'll post it on our Facebook really quick. And once we get started, I'll do an intro. I'll introduce you all as the band. And then I'll give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves individually and tell a little bit about yourselves. And then we'll jump into the new single, everything else you've been doing through the pandemic. And we'll kind of see where the conversation goes from there.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, let me.
Once it's up, I'll share it.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to stay for the whole thing, but this one's how it goes. Keep you alive.
Cool.
What have I done?
Oh,
I'm just the
my
stage
phone is on
idiot.
silent. What?
Nothing?
That's why he sits in the back.
Yeah.
He's not meant to talk.
I'm happy with this.
What did I say?
Swap.
Huh?
Swap to the that one, yeah. I think because that's got the same logo as the
Yeah.
border.
Oh,
We're on brand.
We've got to do a
Yeah.
border one.
What?
We've got to do a border one of those.
Yeah, you can pay for
Yeah.
Mason, you're the one that's working at the moment.
I don't know.
There it is.
Somehow you have the least money than all of us.
I am not responsible.
Yeah, I don't know why you bothered.
It's a good thing.
It's
It's a great thing, God. If I was a kid or something, I'd be, that kid would not have fun. I mean, they would have fun because they'd be buying shit all the time,
I
but
was gonna say something.
yeah. It is a big problem right there first.
First, you've got to meet Taylor in person.
No, you can't say that we're live!
We're not live yet.
You're just screwed.
I know.
Taylor Hawkins?
Okay.
Taylor.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
On a job.
All right. Already having a little bit of fun. All right. Awesome.
This is how it is all the time.
I got you. Hey, that's good though, right?
Yeah. Is it?
Kinda. Maybe.
Keeps it interesting.
Let's say yes.
All right. Awesome. All right. We're good. We're live. I posted the link, and so we should be good to go.
Awesome.
All right. So if you guys are good, I will do the
Yeah.
intro and we'll jump into it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, or group of guests. My bad. We have Indigo Point. How's it going today, guys?
Awesome.
Good.
Not much. I'm glad you guys were able to make it. It's a very big day for y'all. It's your new single release, so it's always exciting to get people on promoting the day of their single, the actual release, not like 8 weeks later or whatever, So it's always exciting. So before we kind of jump into everything, I want to thank you all very much once again for jumping on. But can I have everybody kind of introduce themselves just so people have names to faces, faces to names, and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Sam Morell. I'm the guitar player, singer. I kind of like classic rock.
I was waiting for
Oh,
you
I
to
kinda
say
stuff
long
too.
walks on the beach, and
Oh, it's high.
I was like, oh, I didn't
I like
know
long
that
walks
kind of
on the beach.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good start.
Yeah. I have no preference for Gibson or Fender. I like both. And it is the same with amplifiers. I have no preference for any particular amplifier, although I like my Ulbrich. It's an Aussie-made amplifier. Yeah. I have a little studio here. I like to record some stuff. I'm sort of into that sort of acoustics, audio stuff, so I mess around with that. And that's me.
Nice.
Yes.
My turn. All right.
Go.
I'm JJ Tempest. I'm the bass player and the stage idiot. Yeah, I listen to more heavier rock and or metal. I guess I prefer Fenders overall. I have an excessive amount of guitars. And yeah, that's me.
Cool. And I'm Josh Mason. I'm the drummer. Drummers are meant to be quiet, but I'm not allowed to have a preference of Gibson or Fender because I'm a drummer. So I make too much noise, both behind a drum kit and in every other time.
A Gretsch or Pearl?
Gretsch, 100% Gretsch.
Gretsch or GW?
Nah.
Okay.
Remo Evans.
Remo, 100%. We got too many choices. All we're doing with this is just trying to get sponsor slots. So if these companies want to send us free shit, we'll take it.
Awesome. Perfect.
But yeah, no, I'm more of a punk rock fan, but just mixing a blend of everything. And I think with everything that we all like, we throw it together, and that's the kind of sound we bring.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one cool thing about rock music in general is everybody pulls from so many, because rock has so many different subgenres that they just kind of pull influences from everything and just kind of make their own little thing. That's what I love about rock and roll. So
everyone pulls influences, and then we pull influences from people who have pulled stuff from other people. And
especially in Australia, it's kind of weird. Like what is that? We kind of have this surf thing in Sydney, but other than that, it's like, just do whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I mean, either that or you run the danger of sounding a lot like AC/DC, because that's like the big current. Well, I would assume it's the big current thing right now. I see a lot of AC/DC talk coming out of the Sydney scene right now.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Is that fair or not fair?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really even see ACC as like an Aussie band anymore. It's kind of like, they've just sort of transcended and they're this international thing.
They're just rock gods.
Yeah, they're just gods. In Sydney, what do we have? We have what, like
Lime
Cordial, Ocean Alley, all those
rock.
ones. Yeah, surf rock, kind of.
Not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's all right. It's got its time and place, but trying to squeeze in some room around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like we talked about before, we jumped on the stream here. You guys are in the midst of your release day of your brand new single. How are things kind of going? What's going through your head now that the song's finally out there?
It's one of those things where it's like you're working really hard, you're going up, and then it's like, it's like, drop off a cliff. And it's like, everything's out. And it's kind of like, what do? You kind of just left hanging here. It's like,
we're in the free fall moment of jumping off a cliff where it's just like you don't know where it's going to land.
Can we experience that?
Oh no.
Checking numbers, sharing.
Trying not to stress.
Yeah.
Just
because so the name of the single is The Border. What's kind of the story behind the song?
We wrote it way back. We wrote it back in January. We wrote a series of 4 songs, one of which was The Border. It just came from a riff, which is the riff that plays over the verse on guitar. We recorded it from there. We all liked it. So then we're going to release it. We're going to release it back in like March or something. And then COVID happened.
And COVID,
and we're like, well, we don't want to release this thing, which we're quite happy about, until we can gig off it and promote it and play shows with it. And so we waited for months, waiting for things to change, and of course they didn't change. So and we got a distribution deal with people called Symphonic Distribution, I think down in Miami, are they? Yeah. And we're like, we'll do it.
We'll do it. We go full send.
Yeah.
And that's where we are today.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so you said you recorded it along with 4 songs. That's the Tapestry double single. The double single.
Tapestry was Only Human was written later as like the B-side.
Yeah, Only Human was something that we did a bit later on. But yeah, Tapestry, The Border, Take a Bow, which is our next single coming out November 20th.
Good job.
And Hidden Shadows, which is a little thing that we play live. It's got a killer riff that JJ wrote.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always thought you
The guy in the back gets the compliment.
That makes sense. Oh, that's it.
We wrote those for while this guy was in Hawaii, weren't you?
Yeah, you gotta have a trip. And then I was like, God, if only I knew what would be happening now.
It's a nice one.
Oh
Yeah.
man. But
So
they all got written in one chunk and then
Yeah.
played
Gotcha.
around.
So are things starting to open up a little bit more in Sydney, or? What's kind of the feel and vibe in Australia, I guess, in general?
Yeah, there are some gigs under very limited circumstances coming back. But as you'd imagine, because there are no bigger gigs, those small gigs are very competitive.
Mhm.
And all the bigger guys who are used to playing to the bigger crowds are also sort of in that pool wanting those gigs as well. So it's sort of like uber competitive. Like, I mean, we've got like 4 gigs on the books. Maybe you know, a couple more we're talking about. We're pretty happy with that. You know,
Yeah.
like it's severely restricted. Tickets are much more expensive. It's all going to be done online. It's hard to get people to buy tickets online when they're not used to it.
And then they got to sit down as well.
Yeah.
At a rock
In
show.
Australia, you got to just be at these venues. Everyone has to be seated.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That kind of sucks the fun out of the show a little bit.
Yeah.
And by a
especially
little
at
bit, I
the
mean a
rock
lot.
show. Yeah.
So for the border and all those chunks of songs that you recorded, are you working towards like an EP or an LP, or is it just kind of singles for right now? What's kind of the plan moving forward?
Well, we figured singles. So when we came out, we started with an EP. That was the first thing we released. That was way back. We were just sort of doing it on the cheap, whatever.
Yeah.
And we found that well, how do you prioritize one song over another? All these resources get dispersed amongst all these things. So that we just figured that the single way was the better way to build up the audience and build up the sort of the hype and the production around one song. We would love to do an LP. We've talked about it, but I think that's dependent on when we can get time to actually sit down and write the thing properly, sort of just block everything else out.
Yeah, do it as a collection rather than, which is why we went the way of singles. It's just, we've got a great song. Let's just, full send. But then, with the album, with the LP, I think we want to sit down, block it off, and make that absolutely killer before putting it out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also resources are another thing. Like, look,
We're broke, man.
You got to have a lot of money to do an LP, and having gigs in like 8 months, there's no money.
Spending habits don't help.
Hey, shut up! We don't talk about my personal finances.
This is your bad finances.
Oh yeah, that's also crap.
Yeah.
So no, and like I like the idea of doing singles right now, especially during the pandemic, because you kind of get the most amount of legs out of, like, if you went in and recorded all 4 songs at the same time, correct? Or
yeah, we demoed them all at the same time. We recorded them here and there. One at the studio, one here, but we demoed them all at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, and then that way it kind of gives you the most amount of legs for your, like, most bang for your buck, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. And it kind of keeps the way the industry is kind of looking right now. You want to keep yourself on top of the algorithm, and by releasing more singles frequently, or singles more frequently.
Well, we've also experienced, if you look back, like, to last year, we kind of had a space of about 12 months between releases. So we think we're just coming back with more and more and new content, and everything else will keep pushing it.
The other thing about the longer format release is that there's always going to be a lot more time between the conception of the thing and the release, and in that time is where you start getting doubts. You hate it, you doubt it, you think it's crap, you want to just. So with singles, at least you can get it. You can be in a place where it's like, there's like 3 months, 4 months, where between it's got to be, we start recording, and a couple of weeks out from distribution has to get it. There's a video that's a thing too, and so it's a much shorter process. There's not nearly as much time to start hating it.
Yeah, but in between that, like, it's always something we can hype and post about, and just keep on top of people's minds and their feeds and everything. Like, hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
Something new's coming. Keep your ears out.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then where does the Scientist kind of fit into your release strategy? Because is that the song where you kind of wrote it and recorded it in a matter of 2 weeks with the video? Is that the song that was being referred to?
Yeah.
Well, the Scientist was actually a song we played. We covered it at our very first gig, like the very first show. We played a cover of it, and I think that was recorded like right when I think Sydney was in its worst stages of the lockdowns that we had here.
Yeah.
And it was just, let's just do something
Yeah.
because we had intended to do the border in July.
Yeah.
So
So
we hadn't played it in like 2 years
Mm.
or something. So in 2 weeks we re-remembered the song, learned to play it together, recorded it, and did the video, which was a bit of a tight turnaround.
Yeah.
the recording was about 2 days on that, and then the shooting the video was another day.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty quick turnaround. But it was such. I mean, we knew it. It was kind of a simplistic kind of thing that was pretty straightforward to do. So
Just put it out.
yeah.
I mean, it is a cover, so it's not quite there. There's well, I shouldn't say the ease of recording it is a little bit greater, but it's kind of got its
Hard
own
work of writing is gone.
Yeah.
Structurally, and
Yeah.
there's no doubts about it because you're really just building off of what someone else has done.
Yeah, JJ's right about that doubt thing, because when you write a song, you're always looking for things to change about it. When you do a cover, you still think about, okay, how are we going to make this different? And our version is quite different. But that's the thing. And I think it also helps that it's a song that we all kind of like, but like don't super duper get into, like it's not, you don't absolutely love the song, which I think is kind of a good place to do a cover from.
It's just how we would change the song. That's what we did.
Thank you, us.
How often do you guys do this? Is the first cover song that you guys recorded, or how often do you is this like out of the norm for you guys to record cover songs, or do you
Yeah,
we never considered ourselves a cover band, even though cover bands get a lot more work in Sydney.
Yeah.
We never considered ourselves that, but we always played a couple, but we figured, okay, well, what we're struggling to do is struggling to build the audience. Let's capitalize on some of this audience, and it kind of works. We got, it was a super easy process. We got quite a bit of support, quite a bit of, feedback, which was good.
Coldplay fans enjoyed it, and then people who weren't Coldplay fans but enjoyed it as well. So you're welcome, Chris Martin.
Absolutely. So I'm kind of interested. How did the band come together? How did Indigo Point come together?
So Sam and I went to school together since kindergarten to year 12, so about 13 years. And then we hadn't seen each other after school for about 8 months. So I had Sam over one day and another friend, and we started, because I knew Sam taught himself guitar. He master violinist at school, but he started teaching himself guitar in year 10. And he came over and I had a guitar and a bass lying around. So I was like, oh, let's, while we're here, let's just jam a bit. And then we ended up in this really, really awful cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit. But yeah, we started jamming, and then I spoke to him a few days later, and had a lot of fun the other night. Should play again, and that's sort of how things started with us. But for the first few months, we didn't have a singer or a drummer. It was just us two sort of trying to be on the same wavelength and figure out what the next step was.
I brought JJ in because I had written a song called "Let the Fire In" for school. I was studying at the Institute of Music in Sydney, and I brought him in. We played some bass on it, and we still play that song to this day live. Although
it's a good song,
I'm not so attached to it anymore. JJ loves it, but and then we a little while later, JJ knew Mason through a friend. Is that true, JJ?
Yeah, it was a mutual friend of ours. I didn't know Josh played drums, but I saw a thing on their story of him going ham on an electric drum kit. So I sent him a message one night, and he got back straight away. Yeah, I was thinking about doing something getting back into music, and I'd be really keen. And that's really just how it started.
I was the afterthought.
Yeah. So we started playing in this illegal underground room in JJ's house.
Hey now.
We called it the bunker because it was literally a bunker. It was so echoey and boomy. I remember the first couple of rehearsals, there was no carpet or anything. It was all just solid concrete, and it was just like a wash.
It's like a reverb. It was a huge reverb trap. I got it. Yeah.
It was so awful.
We didn't play with the ear protection either, so
Oh, man.
No, it was loud. It was like that. And then we did a big IKEA run and bought carpets and everything, and packed the car and got it all.
I could only imagine those first couple of practice sessions. You end the song and it's still reverberating throughout the room for like another 30 seconds, and it's like, God, like
Well, I remember those first practice sessions. It's like you go back that far, and there were no written songs. There was no idea of what the band. We didn't have a name. There wasn't a band. It was just I hadn't met him before. It's like, and it's literally walking in and having three, like these two knew each other, but like three almost strangers in terms of musician ability or whatever in the same room, just going, what are we doing other than making a racket? And it's it turned into something, I guess.
Yeah, like how we used to write songs back then was a bit different. You know, we used to like turn the lights off and say, okay, let's get in the middle. We used to turn the lights on again and say, nah, that didn't work.
Weird things for creative inspiration.
Yeah, like JJ play a riff, he'd play a riff, and I'd play something. It was kind of organic and cool. But
a lot more structured now.
Yeah, that's the thing. They all kind of turned out the same, kind of, when you do it that way, because it's kind of just like a pure thing.
A couple of good songs out of it.
Yeah,
for sure. We did run ripples.
But all the a lot of bands that start off authentic like that, it's really awesome. Like my buddy's got a band that started with him and another guy teaching his wife how to play bass, and that's how the band started.
That's awesome. That's
like the
cool.
wife just wanted to learn how to play bass, and then like I leave, and 6 months later it's like, hey, you remember the like jam band thing that we were doing there for a little bit? Like we're actually a band and we've got a full album written. And I'm like, I talk to you like 6 times a week. You just now bring this up to me? Like, and he's like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything. And I'm like, all right, I get it, you know. But
I think it happened that way. We became pretty great friends as well in the meantime. Like just the way it organically happens is much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think we all kind of wanted to make it a good band from the beginning. Like, it was always a conscious thing. Like, okay, like let's not hate each other. Let's not do something unsustainable.
No egos.
Yeah, no egos. Yeah. We're very conscious from the beginning and not making it just a big ego fest for us.
Yeah, I got you. You know, I just realized though that you have all your single album art covers framed, just kind of like randomly thrown out on the couch there.
Yeah, we're meant to hang them on the wall.
Yeah, I tried to hang them on the wall, but this wall here the render is like solid. It's I can't get through it with a hammer drill.
He's gonna use his head.
Gotcha.
It's like concrete with something in it, but whatever is in it, you should tell it to NASA because it's indestructible.
Hey, at least you don't have the other issue where it's like just cheap drywall and like anything just falls off of it.
Yeah, that's the other wall.
That's the other wall. This house is built with everything.
We had a band try to do that once, and they weren't like silver plaques or anything, but they were like just basically the contents of their album framed with like the date it was released, and they had them all hung up on the ceiling or on the wall, not on the ceiling. That would be a completely different situation. Up on the wall, and halfway through their set, they just kind of start all randomly falling down and breaking, and I'm like,
that's like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's like, just take them all down. Don't let the rest of those break because I feel like that's expensive. You know, just all that work you went through.
Luckily, these are just prints, but that's why I'm always stressed when there's guitars hanging on the wall. Or if it's like an expensive one, I just like pick it up and rest it on the floor.
Yeah. We were in Florida and they have a Gibson showroom down in Miami. So like all like the vintage Gibsons are just kind of sitting there hanging on the wall. And I'm like, what happens if just one of these falls? Like really, what happens?
Like, echo the room.
Yeah. You gotta, if one of them falls, you just close the door and you leave.
It's like, yo, you guys are just letting these sit here and hang on the wall while they've got a full stage set up for bands to come in, practice or do showcases or whatever. And they've got like all these vintage guitars just hanging on the wall. And I'm like, you guys are fucking stupid. What are you doing?
But not even that. If there's like showcases, it's going to be all the like vibrations and stuff from amps.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they just must have insurance.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
That or,
Definitely.
that or unless it's all just like the bodies of the guitar, it's all hollow bodied guitars and with like nothing like of real value, just so like reprints of everything, just so it looks like, hey, we've got this
Just a show.
$10,000 guitar just kind of sitting here. Nope, it's just the hollow piece of
Yeah.
plastic, you know. So,
It's a good
but
idea.
so what have you guys been doing during the pandemic? Obviously, you've been preparing for the release of this single and releasing a lot of music. You've been actually really busy during the pandemic. But what have you guys been doing outside to kind of get away from everything to deal with the lockdown and all that fun stuff?
Well, I think actually we've been getting busier since going into lockdown. I mean, we're not really in lockdown anymore. It's kind of just like a general like restricted living kind of environment. But we got busier. I think it's because of the frustration that we went through, not being able to gig, wondering when this is all going to end, like wondering what was going to happen to the music industry. Because like several like massive music organizations, festivals, booking agencies all just went under, and we're not sure what was ever going to happen for music.
A lot of venues closed down as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's like in America, but yeah, it's just stuff that doesn't come back quickly, you know.
Well, the thing that happened in the U.S., like not a lot of like the big venues closed, but like if you like in the local area, like local regions, there are like regionally big venues that like within the first like 2 weeks they closed, and it's like, yo, a month ago you just had, I don't know, Smash Mouth play there, or you know, just like name some band that was huge, but now not so much. You know, they just played that venue. How are you running on such a thin budget that you close after 2 weeks? Like, you know, that's just bad business practice right there. And you probably should have, you know.
Yeah, that's something to touch on, because I looking back, I remember the time before the pandemic. I'm speaking of it like it's ancient history. We used to charge, you know, $5-10 a ticket. Like, what the hell? Like, the amount of work we put in, it's not worth that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, inflation, it's got to be at least 20, you know, and now we charge $30-35 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, less people buy them, but that's kind of what it's worth, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, look, hopefully maybe coming out of this, venues will be more robust in the long term. But also, like, yeah, venues been suffering in Australia for a long time. You know, they've been ripping out stages and putting pokey machines in there, you know. It's just, pokey machines are the slot machines. We just call them pokies.
I figured you just said poker machines, so I was like, okay,
yeah.
Colloquially known slaps. You slap the button.
Yeah. There you go. Because they don't really have the pull down lever anymore. It's more of just gambling machines aren't quite as vintage as they used to be. But,
yeah, no, it's awful. You go into a pub and there's this whole room and it's like there's all that. And I was thinking, well, imagine if you put a stage in there. Imagine how awesome
gambling laws are different here as well in the US. We kind of just it's part of the Australian culture.
Yeah. I don't know, gambling laws in the US are getting a lot less stringent. They're getting I went back home because I grew up in Chicago, and every bar you walk into, they've got state mandated slot machines. Like they're state ran, but you just kind of go in and they've all got slot machines, and it's like, okay. And you know, those things by themselves are keeping a lot of the businesses afloat, like especially right now. And it's like,
as well.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes it so that, you know, when any given gig is most likely to be a duo or solo acoustic cover act. Like that's going to be like maybe 80% of everything that happens musically in a venue, and that's great for them. You know, that's fantastic. But what happens to the bands? What happens to original acts? You know, you've got to weigh these things up. And now a lot of dedicated music venues are the ones who are really struggling now. Those are the ones who don't have, you know, necessarily, you know, the pub culture or the gambling or the horse races or the footy or whatever like that. So you know, it's a bit scary.
It's It really is because, like, I mean, originally it was like, okay, this will be done by the middle of the summer and we'll kind of be back to normal.
Yeah.
And now,
That's what the big orange man
almost
did,
8
yeah.
months
Shut up.
later, it's like, no, not so much, you know. And now they're talking about not till next year, and it's like,
Yeah.
yo, the mindset just like completely changed 180. Like before, it was very optimistic, and now it's like, yeah, we may never get back to, you know, back to normal or whatever normal is, you know. So
Well, what's interesting though is I think we're actually seeing a dip in actually online engagement as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's linked or if it's entirely measurable or scalable.
yeah,
I think that beyond just gigging, people have a lot more stuff on their mind than music at the moment.
well, what we're seeing I think what we're seeing right now specifically is people stop giving a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to get, they've been locked up for so long now. They want to get out. They want to kind of do their thing. And so they're not spending as much time online as they used to.
Yeah.
They're not listening to music like they were maybe early on in the pandemic. And so now they're just kind of out doing their thing, and there's really nowhere for them to go, but they're going to find something to do. And in that obscurity where it's like, okay, maybe you start doing pop-up shows like whatever busking would be for a full band, because I know there's a couple of bands in Sydney that busk and then they get chased off by the cops, and you know, I've heard some stories.
Our busking zoning laws are a bit fucked. Like you have one street, you can busk there, and then there's a great busking spot next door, but then you have to have a whole different busking license. So you can't hold two different busking licenses at the same time. I got a busking license because a couple of friends from the institute where I was studying were going to start busking, and either they did or they didn't invite me, or they just never did. So my busking license expired.
You used to busk when you were in school.
Yeah, I used to busk when I played violin, and I was a kid, so I used to get a lot of money.
Nice little kid playing violin. That's a sure way to make money, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Way better money than I make now doing gigs.
Well, go on then.
That's just
Go shave and go outside.
So what do you guys do for fun, like just away from the music business?
Sam?
what do I do?
I don't even know this question for Sam.
We're gonna learn something about everybody here.
Wow.
I mean, we all game a bit.
What about you?
But not really. I don't know what I do. I like chess.
Okay.
Oh, he does tarot readings.
I do tarot
That's
readings.
a good one.
I collect tarot cards. I have a perfume collection, which I'm very proud of. Thousands of dollars. It's great.
He has a whiskey collection.
I have a whiskey collection, not quite as great.
Yeah.
Because we keep drinking.
I'm starting my small batch. Can you see it back here? Like right.
Oh, yeah.
I have one bottle of small batch
See a
bourbon.
bottle.
Oh, yeah.
One bottle, and I go around to different bourbon distilleries and just kind of buy whatever small batch they have.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
that's the very meager beginnings of this collection.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, no, I mean nothing's better than whiskey. Oh well. It's a good alcohol to drink though, because it's like it forces you to really think about, you know, how much you're drinking. It forces you to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
Until you're 17 and then you just forget.
Until you keep topping up someone's drink and they pass out.
Yeah.
You speak from experience?
No, I speak from
I used to put, when I was in college, I used to put the freshmen under the table. I'd go buy like the really strong whiskey. Like we have this, I don't know, do you guys have Wild Turkey over in Australia?
Yeah.
I used to that was like the really, what they'd call the really strong stuff. And so I just pour shots to all the freshmen and be like, here, if you could take a shot with this, you can drink with us. And half of them would just throw up after one shot. And it's like, okay.
So. Oh wow, yeah.
Am I next or are you next? What do you do for fun? I do for fun. I spend a lot of time at the beach here. It's nice.
Okay.
Beaches. We're very close where we live to Bondi. So the beach, I think.
10-minute walk.
But yeah, just spending a bit of time there. But other than that, I think a lot of the time when we're not doing the music stuff, we spend as well kind of hanging out together. We have a great group of friends that we play board games with that just ends up in screaming all the time.
Ends up in screaming before the board game starts.
Oh yeah, before we start playing upon arrival, it just starts.
Yeah. We play the Game of Thrones board game. We all have different houses that we are, and we're very competitive about it. We all have very big opinions on the best star positions and best strategies and that sort of
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say there's y'all had different theories on how to. No, never mind. Forget it.
Oh, different like show theories.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Very strong feelings about that last season.
Oh, the last season. Oh, that was crap.
Okay, moving on.
All
I
right.
didn't see most of the last season, so
That's
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep you guys too much longer because it is release day, so I'm sure you guys got 1.5 million other things you got to get accomplished. But
for fun or outside of
He hunts.
music?
He goes hunting.
oh, he hunts.
I'll hit you over the head with the shoe.
Give me the hammer.
Yeah, when I can get away, I like to go hunting. It's summer's coming up, so it's speed fishing season, which is hunting of the sea.
You'd say that.
Of course, I would. What do you expect?
Hey.
Sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say now you guys are coming into like your summer season right now, right?
Yeah.
So what?
you don't wanna go
As far as hunting,
summer.
what's in season right now?
Basically all year round, you can get rabbit, pigs, goat, and deer, foxes. They're the main
Okay.
ones.
Gotcha.
Just finding spots where they are outside of Sydney that you can get onto is a bit of a challenge, but yeah.
I got you. I was curious, like how the seasons worked out there, but cool.
Used to be deer were only in season between certain months,
Mhm.
but mainly like because all the animals are pests. That's mainly
Yeah.
why go hunting
Yeah.
to eradicate them, and
Yeah.
because deer have gotten out of control, they've opened up to all year round, not just between certain months now.
Yeah, that's kind of
So,
how deer is here in Texas. Like as long as you shoot them on your property, all you have to
Yeah.
go do is get like I think they call it like a red tag or something, and that's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
a road because they're pest. So
Yeah.
didn't mean to make this the hunting podcast, but it is what it is.
Well, every podcast has to end in a hunting conversation.
No, it's
Maybe
good.
not so.
I love it.
Other than that, I do some coaching for judo.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I
Judo.
sort of teach beginners, the basics of how to fall and throw. And then I help out with like the, more advanced classes. And other than that, I do some sort of like, hobby sort of workshop stuff at home. Mainly with guitars. So like some of my guitars I like repaint and, do new wiring things and put necks on and sort of
Frankenstein's
customize them.
the guitars.
Frankenstein guitars.
Yeah. I saw Jared Dines did one of those on YouTube where he went into a pawn shop and bought a $75 pawn shop guitar and turned it into like a pretty decent thing. So no, I know there's
like not good.
What's that?
I do that sort of stuff, but not as good. Oh, actually, I did paint a guitar body for Sam where I painted it and then tied it to the back of my ute and drove it around the block.
Yeah, to get the relic look on it. Just to drag along the asphalt. I'm still going to put that together. I'm waiting for parts from America.
Maybe you can call them for us.
There's a company called Should I say?
No,
There's a company in Maine who owes me some pickups. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's gonna be. That's weird though because like right when the pandemic first hit, I ordered something from China and it took like 6 weeks to get here, but it got here. And the fact that you ordered something from Maine, that just shows that exporting from the U.S. is a lot tougher than importing, especially coming from China.
Oh, he's got it. Here it is. He did that. This used to be a butterscotch Telecaster.
And then he drove it around.
And
He did blue and black, and he drove it along and he waxed it, and it's all ready to go. So
Nice. And so now you just got to kind of put it back together, and you're good.
we're both together, and that's all done and dusted. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And so I'm looking at your schedule here, and I see you got a show coming up next week with the Lenores, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you
yeah,
guys
well,
played with them before, or are they?
No.
We were meant to, I think. We had a few shows booked before it all got locked down, and there was 1 week where we had like a couple of shows booked that week, and then it
Yeah.
all got closed the week before. So I think we're just trying to make up for some stuff there, but no, we've been looking forward to playing with them for a while.
Yeah, that's at a venue called Lazy Bones Lounge. One of the venues that are still going strong. One of the dedicated music venues still going strong in Sydney.
Yeah.
Great place. We filmed some of our music video there actually. They were very kind to us. This is like the 4th or 5th time we've played there. We love going there. Great sound.
Nice.
A good atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had the Lenores on the podcast. Was it back in May, maybe?
Mm.
I don't. It's been so long, I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
good friends. So so Borders out today. I saw on Facebook you guys have a music video, or will have a music video for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
When's that release?
Tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's tomorrow.
Okay, so actually the 30th for anybody in the US,
Yes.
Yes.
and then the Halloween, I
Time
guess.
zones escaped me.
31st,
Oh,
Yeah.
my world is so blown right now because everybody's kind of going through the season changes and daylight savings time, and everybody's going through it differently, and so it's just like my world's just completely turned upside down right now. I have no idea. So
Yeah. I don't know what day it is. Either.
what was it about this? What was it about the border that you wanted to do a music video for it?
Yeah, good question. Why did we decide to do it again?
I think part of it was because like we really thought like the song had a lot of potential, and part of it was also because we're in lockdown. We thought, well, while we got all this time before the release, we may as well do a video for it.
Come out big and come out swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit of an experiment. Like we got a friend of ours who Josh went to school with to film it for us. He's a big filming.
You did a great job of it. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool music video. Yeah, it's cool.
And so this is the first music video you guys have ever done, or have you?
Yeah,
Music video.
yeah. If you don't include the scientist, this is the first.
This is the big one.
Proper music video.
Awesome.
Everything's been edited and graded and
Oh yeah, good crew on it. Lots of setups.
great crew.
Yeah, we're
Just
at, like,
brought it together.
What's
5
one
different
thing?
locations for 3 days. It was a bit of a nightmare.
With
Was
this
that
being
notable?
your like first proper music video, what's one thing you learned through that entire process? Because making a music video is a completely different animal.
Yeah. The thing that I learned was you hate the song by the end of it.
Yes.
I have heard that song after from us. It's writing it and then recording it, and then we sit down to because we produce the song ourselves here as well.
Although we sent it to a guy called Barrett Jones in Seattle to mix it for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did Foo Fighters, Nirvana, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, he's
So got his sound on it. But
Yeah, after you've done like kind of put the song together and then having to hear it over and over again, trying to get like multiple takes and multiple shots, I think you end up hating the song a lot more.
especially when you're freezing your butt off in the
Oh
ocean.
yeah, there's some cool
And the most
stuff.
satisfying thing was destroying everything at the end.
Yeah,
The
we
last
did
shot.
trash everything. Yeah.
Yeah, the last shot we put a drum kit and we just kind of played through the song in a little cove
Yeah.
bay thing. So half submerged in water and then just went ape shit at the end.
It sounds like you guys didn't have the same issue. Like the first music video I ever shot for a band, I made the mistake. I didn't realize you were supposed to have them play to it, the track.
Yeah.
And so I just told the band to start playing the song live. And it was just like, okay, just start playing the song live. And they're like, okay, cool. Because they didn't really know either. And had they played the song the way they recorded it, it would have probably been close enough that nobody would have really noticed. But they told me after I contacted them, I was like, hey, I'm having an issue getting everything to kind of line up. There's like this random drum solo in the middle of the video take, and that's not on the recording. They're like, oh crap, we rearranged it after we recorded it, and now Dylan takes a drum solo in the middle. And I'm like, all right, well, let me figure out how to edit around this one. And so there's like a whole like 45 seconds where you don't see a single shot of the drummer, but the drummer's just kind of playing. And I'm like, oh, this video is so weird. I don't even want to tell people I edited this one or I shot it because I didn't know what I was doing. But
There were a few in ours like that where you just couldn't hear the speaker of the song. So editors still managed to pull it together though.
Yeah, we had enough footage. We got a lot of footage,
Yeah.
so we were all right by the end. But yeah, we had some technical issues on set.
Jesus Christ.
One of it was the stage smoke blowing everywhere and outdoors. Another one was getting the sound from the speaker over the noise and everything else.
yeah.
Another one was trying to dispose of our ruined kit at the end of filming.
We don't need to get into this.
And we put it next to a skip, and it found its way back into the ocean. There's some very angry mums from the area went after us on Facebook about that. You know, what can you do?
How dare they destroy a drum kit?
Kicking off with or ending off with a bang, right? Like just
Yeah, quite literally. You'll have to see it tomorrow.
awesome. I can't wait to see the video. You know, once it launches, we'll share it around as much as we can and all that fun stuff. But where can everybody find you online? Where can they find your music? You know, all that fun stuff.
Online we're on probably Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. Just search up Indigo Point. In terms of where they can listen to it, I think it's just one Google search away. But we're on Spotify, iTunes, all the big.
Tidal.
Yeah.
I know who uses Tidal.
I use Tidal.
I don't know.
Tidal's the best payout if you're going to use the streaming services.
Yeah.
Everybody should move
Go
over to
listen to it
Tidal.
on Tidal and fund the album.
Because Tidal pays us well. That's a whole. We can have a whole conversation about that. Tidal pays a lot better than the other ones.
Spotify sucks.
Yeah, Spotify sucks. Listen on Tidal. We'll get more money. It's good.
Well, I mean, Tidal still doesn't pay fairly enough, but they
No
pay
streaming will pay anything at the end
Yeah.
of the day, but no, that's not what we're in it for. But it's still you can find us on all of those big streaming services and I don't know, some others.
You can go to our website, Indigo Point Music or band.
Music.
IndigoPointMusic.com, designed by this man here.
I love having a .com address. I miss when everything was .com.
Yeah, we've been told.
www.
I'm
It's
so
all
mad
the
because
website.
our website is .net. Somebody owns the .com, and I'm like,
Oh.
I gotta go to stupid .net. Like, I mean, I guess .net isn't the worst because, like, when I was growing up, there was the occasional website that was like a .net, but everybody is .com. Like, if you're not .com, you're probably not going to get nearly as much traffic, and it's like,
Should get a
Hey.
.org. Should register as a charity.
.gov.
.gov.
actually, I thought about doing .XXX because that's like a thing, and I was just like, yeah, let's see what happens, you know, and then
Gotta get a different audience to what you intend.
then my buddy was like, yeah, you may want to rethink that, and I'm like, it'd be so funny, like,
IndigoPoint.xxx.
Well,
Yeah.
that is like a possible.
I'm gonna look it
porn
up
site
after
name.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
Look it up after
Like
this.
.XXX. That's awesome. But once again, thank you all for jumping on. I really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys later.